GCF first, and then one of the other methods that has already been taught to you. So these are the process that you go through. You always want to check for your GCF first. Then look for, if it's two terms, difference of two squares. If it's three terms, then you're going to either have a leading coefficient of 1, which we use a chart method, or not 1, then we use the AC method. And then our last one is when we have 4 terms, then we use factor by grouping. So here's our first example. Number 1, 4x squared minus 16. We want to find out what is the GCF of this polynomial. So we want to say, what can we take out of both of them? We can take out a 4. And what are we left with? So if you remember, when you do GCF, you divide both terms by 4. So what happens then is that 4 and 4 cancels out. You're left with x squared. And then divide this by 4. You're left with a minus 4. Now, in the blue, we still have to continue factoring this. This is 2 terms, so we're going to use the difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to keep that 4 out in front, and then I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 2 squared, because 2 times 2 is 4. Now I split that up into 2 parentheses, and I have x minus 2 and x plus 2. Where students make mistakes is they forget that 4 out in front. So please don't forget that 4. Here's our second example. We want to find the GCF. So if you notice, you can take out a 3, and a 3 out of that polynomial. So we're going to divide everything by 3. So 3, 3, 3. That's your GCF. And what we're left with is the 3's cancel. So we have x squared. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we're left with positive 2x. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we're left with plus 1. Now we go inside of this parentheses. This is a trinomial leading coefficient of 1, so we're going to set up a chart. We say, what are the factors of C that add to B? So this is your C, that's your B. We're using the chart method. So what are the factors of 1, 1 and 1, and negative 1 and negative 1? When we add those, we get 2 and negative 2. The one we want is the one that adds to 2. So those are the numbers we're going to work with. So now I still have this 3 out in front. And now I'm going to split it up. The x squared is x and x. And then plus 1 and plus 1. Now it's completely factorized. Last example, do our GCF first. So we can divide this by 2, this by 2, and that by 2. So our GCF is 2. What are we left with? Divided by 2, we're left with x squared. Divided by 2, we're left with a 3x. Divided by 2, we're left with negative 10. So now we look at what's left in the parentheses. This is a trinomial leading coefficient of 1, so we're going to use the chart. We say, what are the factors of C that add to B? Well, 5 times negative 2, or negative 5 times 2. When we add them, we get positive 3, negative 3. We want the one that adds to 3. So these are the numbers we're going to work with. Don't forget the 2 out in front. That was your GCF. And now we split up the x's. And then plus 5 and minus 2.